Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. On today's show, Danny's going to give us a full tour of his Toyota Tacoma Overland rig. See this on the back? That's a camper. It opens up, sleeps up to 3 people. You can stand on the inside, and the thing is really awesome. So join us for the tour.
What's up, Patrick? Thanks for having me on. This is my 2013 Toyota Tacoma. My first vehicle was my absolute dream vehicle. It was a first-gen Toyota 4Runner. That gave me way too many mechanical issues, so I needed to get something new. And when I bought this truck new, I knew that I was going to do it up old school. So one of the most important things for me was to go with James Dean Creations 1985 Toyota factory stripe kit. He retrofits it for the second-gen Toyota Tacoma. I re-geared the truck with 529s. It has a rear locker. Went with 35-inch Yokohama Geolander XMTs, and those are 12.5 inches wide with Raceline Raptors on there. Those are 17 by 10-inch wheels. On the front, I have an ARB bumper with a 9,500-pound synthetic line winch by Smittybuilt. And I have KC daylighters. Very important to me to keep the KC daylighters, to keep it old school. I went through a lot to be able to run this rack with the Flip-Pac because that camper actually opens all the way to the front. So I get a lot of questions about these, what their function is. These are actually limb risers. So when you're driving through a lot of brush and it's overhanging the trails, which happens a lot here in New Jersey, this actually prevents branches from whipping your windshield and potentially cracking or damaging it. So on the front, I just kept it simple, went with little turnbuckles. I went with the fitness cable because that already has the coating to keep it all waterproof. And then this is a cable tie. And then for the CB radio antennas, I actually got ditch mount lights because CB radio antennas were at least 2 times the price. So what I did was I used ditch mount lights, and then I just got a metal mending bracket to allow me to run the CB antennas out wide enough so when the Flip-Pac's open, it's not interfering with it. I went with the Morimoto XBs. These are actually the Amber edition, so prior to them coming out with the Amber, I didn't know which headlight to go with, but once they came out with that, that sealed the deal for me. Up on the roof rack, I have my little shovel. This little shovel actually saved me this weekend. The first night of my trip, I got stuck in quicksand, and anyone that knows anything about the Pine Barrens knows that when you hit that, you just sink right in. So my 35s were buried, at least up to here. My differential was buried, and I had to dig myself out, and it took a few hours, but the little shovel did the job. On the inside, got a 5-speed manual. I have Wetacoli seat covers, which are amazing because they're waterproof, so I don't have to worry too much about what I'm covered in when I'm going in and out of the rig. Also, something that was super important to me, like I mentioned, I had a 1985 Toyota 4Runner, so this is actually an inclinometer out of a 1985 Toyota 4Runner. And then on the back, we have the Flip-Pac. So the Flip-Pac is a really amazing product. The people that came up with it are just absolutely genius. Everything seamlessly opens. The 10 is connected in a way with the support poles that everything opens up and folds without you having to set up and break anything down. So these were more of a passion project. They weren't in it to make money. They more so just wanted people to get out there and explore. So they weren't made for all that many years. Unfortunately, the owner ended up getting sick and passing away. And they own the patent to the design, so no other companies came out with the design of flipping to the front like this one. So the original design, you would put a crank handle on this spindle here, and you would crank it like this. One of the most common fail points of these, and why I ended up adding all this custom fabrication, this gold that you see, is that this hinge right here would end up pulling out and basically ripping the camper apart from the inside. So another issue that you have is when you're closing it, material sticks out and you're trying to stuff it in, but while you're on that handle, it's pretty much impossible. So what we came up with when adding this custom fabrication is that we also made up this push bar that all snaps together. It all comes apart. Do these push pins. I'm just gonna put my Rainfly on there real quick. So the Rainfly is actually a big thing that a lot of people struggle with. They actually try to open it and then put the Rainfly on. Whereas if you do this right before opening it, it opens on itself. I just screwed these D-rings into the bumper here so that I can wrap these straps around. And that way it holds the back of the Rainfly exactly where it needs to be. And now we're ready to fully open her. Then I like to take all my wing nuts off, so when I bring my support poles up, and just put them right in. What was really cool about having these side compartments on my truck bed is that I'm able to store these out of the way. I also have two 200-watt panels, so a total of 400 watts that comes from my roof. And those panels each only weigh about 15 pounds. So to fully set it up, it takes about 10 minutes, and that's including everything I have to do on the inside. And then the breakdown takes right around 15 minutes. Then in the back here, I have some custom-built drawers that run the entire length of the bed. I keep my cookware all on this side. Lots of gas canisters, because there's nothing worse when you're out there and realizing you're out of your fuel source. I just use a backpack burner. So I just have this little single burner here. And then also, really important to have your windscreen, because if it's too windy while you're trying to cook something up, you're not building up a significant amount of heat. And I go with the Oziri pans because they're really good with being free of all the stuff that you want to avoid, PFOAs, all that stuff. Then over here, this is more of my tools. I do a lot of work with contractors, so I like to have a lot of my tools on hand. I have my push-up boards, my electric skateboard, which the electric skateboard really changes the game in terms of being able to park places and not have to worry about parking exactly where you need to be. You can park over 10 miles away and just cruise right on over. And then back here, I have my camp shower. It's an all-in-one system, so all you have to do is recharge it. Costs about 45 bucks. Also, something that I keep on me, having my truck lifted as high as it is I always keep extra U-joints. Never had an issue, but just in case. And then over here, I have another side compartment. Then here's my cargo rack. I have this on a swing out because it's summer right now, but I usually have my diesel heater on there. So when the diesel heater's on there, it can block my drawer from fully sliding out. So it's real nice to have that to slide out. And I use this as a table all the time too. So this Flip-Pac camper just sits on top of the bed rail, so everything under it is all custom added. So this is all my food storage on the left side. My big thing with this was to keep everything functional, lightweight. So my last camper that I had weighed 1,100 pounds. This Flip-Pac weighs less than 300. And my interior build out, I wanted to keep it as light as possible because I wanted to be bombing the trails and not have to worry about it. So I have my bedding and everything in the large ottoman up there. This ottoman is now my clothes and everything. Then on the right side, I have a 40-liter dual zone fridge and freezer, so each compartment can be set individually, and that's powered by my Bluetti AC200P. I have a Bluetti Charger 1 as well, that's an alternator charger. So another thing that I have is a high output alternator. So the stock alternator in this truck is pretty underpowered at 80 amps, so I stepped that up to a 200 amp alternator with power bastards. And now here's the real magic of the Flip-Pac camper. 8-foot standing height at the center point, which is what allowed me to run these foot-tall drawers and still have full standing height at my height of 5'10". These are actually hammocks. This is the smaller portion that's left right now, the bigger portion that I just folded in. Then in here is where I keep my foldable toilet. These plastic organizers also have access from every single side, which is another reason why I went with them. So you guys saw my shovel on the roof rack, but if ever need be, have this little foldable setup. Base folds down, top comes down, just put a little bag on the inside and you're good to go. Then here Have the dual zone fridge and freezer. I typically run both sides on the fridge setting because I don't have too many things that I have to keep frozen. Always keep on me fire extinguisher, especially when running the diesel heater. Always just want to play it safe. It's pretty hot and humid today, so one of the lifesavers in here is these rechargeable fans. Really nice because they have clips, so I can just clip them right onto my support bars. So I clip them up here and point them towards myself in the bed. And in here, I have my bedding. I really like these ottomans because the top folds in half, so it's really easy to maneuver in here. And then up here I have an X-Ped Mega Mat Duo. This is a hybrid memory foam and air mattress. These are super comfortable. I just have Velcro on the bottom to keep it in place so when it flips shut it doesn't fall off. And this has been great for well over a year now. Just this weekend I started to have a leak in it, so I've been having to fill it every single day, so I need to do a little detective work and figure that out. I get a lot of compliments on my duality wolf blanket as well. So behind the ottoman I have the Bluetti Charger 1, so that's the alternator charger. That's been a complete game changer for me. I often go out on hikes and I park at trailheads, so solar isn't always the best option for me. But ever since I got that high output alternator and the alternator charger set up, I keep this Bluetti Charger 1 topped off basically every single day. Then also back here, I ended up going with a rollout table. Due to the nature of how things are in here, having a big table I had to awkwardly maneuver wasn't the best. So I went with this to just give me enough of a hard surface to do its job, but I can also just easily move whatever portion I need to out of the way. And then here we just have the collapsible sink. Has a little drain port there. And then the Flip-Pac has big beautiful windows. The Rainfly just has these little windows, and then these are vents, so there's actually fiberglass poles that you put in here to keep the vents open. And then here, the Flip-Pac window and my cab window lined up perfectly, so I'm actually able to get through there and grab things without having to get out of the vehicle, which sometimes you're in cases that you don't want to be caught outside your vehicle.
Well, this is awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to swing by my town here. On your way back from the Pine Barrens, you were out there camping for like a week in this thing.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, it's people are attracted to this, right? You're always getting stopped, and people want to see the inside because it's very intriguing. You could just take a regular pickup truck, buy a camper like this. I'm sure these are hard to find, right? You said you looked for quite a long time looking for this exact model.
Over 2 years daily searching for it, yeah.
But for, I would say, less than 10 grand, you could get it. A camper, the Bluetti, solar, and all this stuff, and you're out there.
Absolutely.
And it fits down the trail, too, because it collapses nice and small.
Yeah.
Well, you're also a YouTuber, too, right? So you do videos on your lifestyle, your outdoor lifestyle?
Yeah, so I run a channel called Ascended Aperture. I also run a couple channels with my father. We have Garden State Off-Road and Garden State Outdoors. Then also on Instagram, Ascendant Nutrition, and I have the Timeless Taco page that's specifically the truck stuff.
So you're a busy guy, creating content. Well, this is cool. Can we just see, before we wrap this up, what the hammock looks like?
Okay.
Because we were underneath it before, and it didn't get the full effect. So that goes into that
I need to tighten that a bit, but
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then this whole portion will come over, which can't really put it all out while we're standing here, but
well, that's cool. You know, you get a buddy that wants to come with you and they don't want to sleep outside in the tent. Say, come on in here.
I've had my friend, he weighs 170 pounds and he comfortably slept here and he said it was great.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll put those links in the description so our viewers can click over. This is Patrick from New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.